Hey guys, today I just wanted to cover the infected leaders topic. So, I've been asked by a lot of people what is the best infected leader setup. So, can I go with leader A versus leader B? This is a really difficult question to answer, and I think people who've been playing for really a year or more, they would definitely know what the setup should be by now, depending on how they play. This is more towards the new people who don't spend that much, and whenever they get some leaders, they want to choose what they can do with them. So I would start with first of all, if you're not spending money, you're not going to get better leaders. So that's a sad fact. So make sure that you buy some packs with some powerful leaders. Otherwise, when you hit ICs, the leaders that you get are not as effective as the ones that you would actually buy from the packs or for buying from using bio tokens from the DNA lab. So um, depending on how much you have, and see, sometimes they give packs for $5, and you can still get some good leaders like Kurgan or President Evil, and so on and so forth. So just again going back to the question on what is the best setup for the city. It's purely depends on how you want to play the game, and it also depends on the type of troops that you would be specializing more. So some people would actually be happy to go with purely infected or high infected troops. So when I say infected, these are the ones that you can actually um, train them from the infected pen. So like shamblers, runners, bloated, and elites. So if you are kind of going with infected, you have a set of infected leaders that would actually help you in terms of attack and defense. So for instance, Shadow Stalker would be a good addition for you if you are focusing on infected, because if you look at the stats of Shadow Stalker 10, he gives you about 350% infected attack and 325% troop attack. So this 325% will be applicable for any type of troops. Assuming if you're using infected as your main attack base, then you're going to get 350% plus 325% troop attack. So that gives you about 625% attack. So if you have like say two or three shadow stalkers, so this kind of triples. So 625 times 3, or if you have all 4 shadow stalkers, it would actually offer you a bit more attack options. Again, it depends on how you want to go, full offense or full defense. A few people would actually like to go with full defense, where you can actually go for the leaders like Kurgan and Lockdown. So these are the two leaders you would have heard for now, by now, that the best setup for your defense, and which is true, because if you look at Kurgan, Kurgan kind of offers you about 900% troop defense in city. So if you have Kurgan in your city, and Kurgan can actually offer you a 900% defense. So it's going to be really hard for your enemy to kill your troops. But just the catch here is it's kind of depending on how many troops you have. So for smaller people, like when you have like less than a million troop, it doesn't make a big sense in getting a Kurgan in your city. So you can actually see that, okay, you need at least sizable amount of troops in your city to even get Kurgan help you. Otherwise, it's just a glorified leader that you might have. My suggestion is, if you want to go defense, Kurgan is the best thing to do. However, it purely depends on the troop defense that you might have. And obviously, if you are having a Kurgan and infected, it kind of gives you additional infected defense. So if you have a Shadow Stalker and a Kurgan, it's a good combination for you to have both attack and defense for your infected troops in city as well as the march. So again, lockdown, so you guys know, definitely offers a great defense on for the wall defenses. So if you can actually see, the city defense gives you 350%, and the 200% troop defense, not great, but at least it gives you, with the Kurgan, you have roughly about 1100% troop defense, and the city defense 350%. So it kind of gives you a 350% on defense from the walls. So your walls are much harder to break when you have a lockdown. And an interesting fact here is the city defense's attack. So what does this mean? So it's more like a counter attack. So a defense is pretty much, it reduces the amount of troops or wall defenses die. So that's kind of defense. So but the attack is the troops in your city or the wall defenses that you have would actually start to attack more. Uh, they'll have a base attack power, and basically lockdown is kind of adding a 350% more in terms of counter attack. So the outcome of this is your enemies would lose more troops when they hit you, and that's why in the kill event you would actually see a big guy hitting a small guy, a medium-sized guy, and still giving the guy who's getting hit more points than the guy who is actually hitting. Because when you hit a city with leaders like Lockdown and Kurgan, you tend to kill more troops of your enemy, and you lose lesser troops, and that's why you kind of go on top of the leaderboard. So another thing that I would like to kind of quickly cover is the troop-specific leaders. So again, if you are focusing on infected, you should go with Shadowstalker or Dedro or Gorbo the Destroyer. And if you're going with infantry, this is one of the best that you can actually get, which is the Dead Bark. Dead Bark offers an amazing attack on your infantry, so that's about 500%, and it also offers you the defense and attack. So if this is more like you can call it a defensive attack and option for you. So it offers you some sort of defense and some sort of attack from infantry. That's the best to have so far. In my setup, I had more infantry and infected, so I had a best combination with this. Again, Dead Bark is kind of deadly to kill more troops when you get attacked because of the attack counter attack that it offers. And my setup, technically, I would call it more counter attack. If you see, I get 150% troop attack from Stalker, and I get 300% city defenses attack from my defense, and Kurgan kind of offers a 900% defense. So more towards defense, but if I use, in my march, if I use my infected and infantry, I get a best of these two, Dead Bark and Shadow Stalker. So again, answering the question, it depends on how your style of play is. And one good thing happened, if you had watched my videos earlier, the cold storage. Once you kind of open a lot more slots, now you don't really have to worry about the limited slots we had before. Now you can actually train more infected leaders and then use them depending on the situation. So, for example, if you want to kind of defend, you can technically train 4 Kurgans and put all four Kurgans in here, and it will be really hard for the enemy to break your walls or your troops to come in. And if you're going in attack, so again, depending on your troops, you can go with all Shadow Stalkers or Dead Bark and so on and so forth. So it technically depends on how you play the game. So there is no best setup as such, but you can create the best setup based on your style of play and the troops that you have. And also, what do you do with the resource leaders? I think resource leaders are pretty good if you are having a farm. Most of the times, I've seen some bigger players having a farm so that you're self-sufficient in terms of resource. All you got to do is just buy packs for your speed up. For instance, here in my second city, I hyper metal. So I'll cover what is hypering in another session. But so what it means in a snapshot is you make more of a certain resource so that you're self-sufficient. So you make more, and then you'll also see other people making a different type of resource more, and then you kind of trade within the alliance, and you kind of self-sufficient for your resource needs. So I have Sparkles here, so he kind of gives 150% metal production, and that gives me about 300% plus Brutalizer gives me about 75. So I'm going to replace Brutalizer with another Sparkles so that I get about 450% in terms of metal. So there are plenty of leaders that you can actually get for your resource, and you can actually see how much of a difference it makes. My base income is 242, and my leader bonus offers me almost 1 million that I can get out of my production. So I make 2.7 mil. Out of it, close to 1 mil is coming from my leader bonus. So you can wisely use a mix of resource and attack and defense as your leaders set up in your cities, and take the best out of all. So for tips for the people who don't really spend a lot of money, please look at the weekend events. Weekday events are not that good, but weekends usually Ember gives you some great leaders that you can work with, and as a price, all you need to do is to go and max the event and try to get some leaders. Just ask around for help in your alliance. I'm pretty sure they'll be able to help you to max the event. The moment you max the event, you're going to get a lot of gifts. I think I got this guy from an event, which is not bad. So Santa Claus is giving me about 100% troop attack at number 3, level 3. So I'm pretty sure by level 10, he would offer at least 200 to 300%, which would be a great addition to your leaders. And Titan, they offered Titan a few weeks ago, which would be great for your infantry. And a little bit of troop attack, and also gives you a city boost in terms of defense. So for people who don't want to spend a lot of money or do not want to spend at all, try to look into the Ember email every week and see what are the events that they come up with for leaders, and participate in those, and try to get some leaders, and then try to enhance them to level 10. So nowadays, I think DNA is great, easy to get, and I'll also cover that part in the later sessions that I would record. For now, from a leader setup point of view, it purely depends on how you want to play the game and what you want to do. So, if you guys have any questions or anything that you want to share about the leaders, please put that in the comments. And thanks for watching.